Eid al-Kabir celebration, Federal Road Safety Corps mobilizes personnel to ensure safety on the road during festivity. Plus, correspondent explores the price of ram this year as Muslims prepare to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. There's and more we'll bring to you shortly. Welcome to Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguwele. In its determination to ensure that no Nigerian citizen is left to be consumed by the crisis in Sudan, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has evacuated additional 126 stranded Nigerians back home. Now, this brings the number of stranded Nigerians evacuated
are evacuated from Sudan.
And the success we are seeing today is because the federal government supported us, and the DG of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, has been on top of the situation.
I thank to federal government of Nigeria, Dr. Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Welcome back to Nigeria now safely.
Dr. Bandele also revealed that another flight is being expected with more Nigerians to be brought back home. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
All right, let's take you to Mecca, where we hear Muslim pilgrims are to begin movement to Munna this evening to observe major religious rites for this year's Hajj exercise. And sequel to this, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it has achieved a record time success on airlift exercise for the first time in 10 years, with no single case of any contingent left behind. Our correspondent, Usman Aliyu, reports.
This is a pre-Arafat conference with all stakeholders in Hajj operation, including Islamic scholars. The meeting is for appraisal on the airlift exercise and highlights on next steps for a hitch-free Hajj. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it is reinventing itself for the best outing, just as Saudi authorities adopt new strategies for safety of the pilgrims.
Minus those who may be sick or indisposed, we are confident to say every person who had the right documents has been brought to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for this year's Hajj. Our responsibility now is to ensure that as we move near the day of Hajj proper, which is at Arafah and Mina and Muzdalifah, to ensure that the Muslims, pilgrims, indeed are able to do their rites successfully.
Nigeria's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Yahya Lawal, and others analyzed the recent challenges and breakthroughs. In the end, they all agree that all components must work together to achieve the target. For those states compromise the rules on welfare and health condition of the pilgrims, the Hajj Commission says there will be sanctions. Now the attention is how the return of the pilgrims back home after Hajj is going to be. In Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, to curb road crashes and avoidable traffic gridlocks back home on our highways, the Court-Martial Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibiu, has directed the mobilization of adequate logistics and personnel for the 2023 Eid al-Kabir celebration to enhance visibility and guarantee safe travels for all road users before, during and after the celebration. A special patrol operations has been scheduled to commence from 26 June and to be terminated on 1st July 2023. In a statement, the court-martial equally mandated that the following objectives must be achieved in the special operations: reduction in road traffic crashes, road traffic fatalities, and road traffic injuries, prompt response to road traffic crash victims, engagement of robust public education and enlightenment, as well as speedy removal of obstructions from the highways. Ahead of this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration, now one symbolic feature of the festivity is ram slaughtering, and Muslim faithful have been enjoined to meet this obligation in line with the dictates of Islam. Lynn Leneke visited livestock markets in some parts of Lagos to capture activities and the mood there. So let's see it.
Eid al-Kabir comes with preparations, and the ram market is crucial on the list, including bargaining power, as this determines selection of ram for the celebration.
420. 250. Make 11 250. Look at when now.
The price of ram this year is standstill of what I bought last year. Well, the ram we bought around 75,000 last year is almost 200,000 plus this year.
Faces devoid of smiles after negotiations are proof that the ram sellers refuse to lower their price to the bargaining level of customers.
Anyone they told me 2 something, 3 something, 400,000. So I'm so confused. But I just have to take my time. Since there's different people selling here, I have to buy from every other people.
They decide to go for like a cow, maybe to kill a cow and support it with a small ram.
To part with 280,000 naira for a medium-sized ram is unthinkable for these faithful.
The ram we bought around 75,000 last year is almost 200,000 plus this year.
The sellers too are not happy, as hope for expected turnover dims. They bemoan their fate and continue to spend more time at the markets with these sacrificial animals in anticipation that customers willing to buy at their adamant price may surface.
We're here for like 73 days, but customers are coming, they will be pricing the way they priced last year, they buy, they will be thinking it's still the same, and everything have changed.
Sellers blame cost of transportation,
$350, $400 from Kano to Lagos. Now we pay 1.3.
As the countdown to the Eid al-Kabir begins, Muslim faithful have been admonished to adhere more to the value of the Islamic faith, as the celebration is not just about slaughtering ram.
The purpose of this slaughtering of ram is to attain piety from the Almighty Allah. That He is interested in is the piety from you. So that piety is all attached also in the daily life of a Muslim. This is what Islam preaches.
For those who cannot afford to buy anything at all, showing gratitude for the gift of life is said to be the greatest option.
Thank you, Lynn. And chicken is also there. That's an option. Center for Transparency Advocacy is urging the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that challenges observed in the conduct of the 2023 general elections are not repeated in the 3 off-cycle governorship elections in November this year. Now, this formed part of resolutions reached during a post-mortem of the 2023 general elections. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy and Election Observer Group believes that it is crucial to acknowledge the hurdles faced during the February and March 2023 elections, urging Nigerians to also focus on the positives that emerged from the polls and ensure they are sustained.
The fact that we have an election where the winner came up with 8 million votes and the following votes were 6 million, altogether putting it, say, about 50 million votes, means that we are now having the real people who are voting in the country.
Why are we talking about those things that didn't go well and not giving credit for the things that went excellently well?
INEC had fixed the Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi States governorship elections for November 11, 2023. CTA is hopeful that the elections would be an improvement with lessons learned from the previous elections. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room is similarly following up on its report of the 2023 general elections, demanding urgent national electoral reforms to reignite citizens' confidence in Nigeria's electoral process. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
From Freetown, we had the joint international heads of mission have adjudged the general election in most parts of Sierra Leone as relatively free, fair and peaceful, even though with some setbacks occasioned by late arrival of materials, conflicting voter registration, insufficient election materials and overcrowded polling centers and some polling units. Charles Arthur reports.
The Commonwealth Observation Mission, African Union, ECOWAS and the West African Elders Forum at a briefing shared the same realities from the fields of elections, which they say can help improve integrity of the process for future polls in Sierra Leone. The ECOWAS election observation team monitored about 337 polling units, with the Commonwealth team overseeing the 5 regions. The missions acknowledge it is a work in progress and have advised their stakeholders to exercise some level of patience to allow the electoral body carry out its collation without any interference. The major takeaway from the joint international heads of missions post-election briefing is the fact that they all agreed that the election was largely successful, and if there is anything Sierra Leone can only leverage on the recommendations that will be dished out by these heads of missions. After the briefing, the Sierra Leonean Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, where they emphasized the need for continued peace after the election in Sierra Leone.
Everybody has voted. That's what we verified. And the most important thing is also that people are allowed to vote.
Facets of the society, people have tried their level best to work for this peace and want to make sure that this peace is maintained.
The missions are due to meet with the electoral body on the state of collation. From Freetown, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Let's take this break. You please stay tuned.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youth, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youth, let's build our nation together.
Welcome back. Sustaining the trajectory in food security through local production remains topmost in the priority list of President Tinubu's administration. In this regard, the federal government, in partnership with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, is boosting food production in Nasarawa State with the distribution of farm inputs to more than 350 farmers. Charity Ashiki reports.
With over 70% of Nigeria arable land cultivated by smallholder farmers who account for 90% of agricultural produce in the country, these farmers are usually at the center of Nigeria's battle for achieving food security and overcoming hunger, thereby placing them as victims of agricultural threats, which leads to the drop in agricultural produce across the state and country. To address this year's challenges, the federal government, in partnership with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, is distributing a total of 1,800 kilograms of improved rice seeds 1,650 bundles of cassava stems, 402 bags of fertilizers, as well as 156 liters of selective and non-selective herbicides to 363 farmers.
Our collective commitment was to mobilize actions towards improving the livelihoods of smallholder rural farmers on sustainable basis.
Inshallah, National State will be the food basket of the world.
Beneficiaries express appreciation for making their farming process easy and affordable.
We have gained so much. They've given us trainings of different kinds.
It's helping me a long time because they're giving me fertilizer and rice and chemical I used to using in my farm.
According to agricultural experts, this effort is expected to expand the various farms and consequently the yields of the 2023 farming season. Charity Ashki, NTA News.
Gas has been a major source for domestic use, especially for cooking. But Nigerians are now using the product in a very shocking way. The major concern now is how risky or safe is this trending development. Let's hear from Aisha Uba Ali.
When the fuel subsidy was removed, Nigerians lamented, even though comfortable with the move by the president. A consolation was when FCT residents experienced a slight price slash on the price of cooking gas. While this is being celebrated, a trending video of Nigerians using gas to power generator has gone viral on social media.
Yeah, oh yes, life in over it. Bumare Junction, you cannot use your cooking gas instead of fuel. You know, PMS is very expensive. As you can see, the generator is running smoothly.
How do FCT residents see these developments?
Because I've not known the signs that might have led to that, so I've not studied it. But certainly, it will not be the best.
Gas is flammable. It can explode. It doesn't need heat. You know, generator produce heat.
Especially to create awareness, because it's that awareness that will enlighten the people around.
To power their big gen using gas, it could be very explosive.
A mechanical engineer turned public analyst, Obina Agomo, says it is just part of being creative.
Whether it's gasoline, whether it's LPG, they are all gas. The difference is just the octane number. And since they have, about the same compression ratio, that is why it is okay for them. And I don't see any risk.
Whether it is risky or not, Obina Agomo highlighted reasons, but also cautions users.
Ensure that they take their generators to experts who can actually do the conversion. They don't have to be very close to the generator. Okay, you should have a longer hose, to extend it from, where you situate the generator.
Yes, it is good to be creative, but just like the analyst has said, it is also good to watch carefully before you leap.
Thank you, Aisha Uwali. And they say necessity is the mother of invention, right? Well, the FCT is not the only place this invention has been experienced. In Owerri, Beatrice Ayam will give us an update.
In the wake of fuel subsidy removal by the federal government, this video on gas-powered generator went viral on social media.
Yeah, oh yes, life in over it. Bumare Junction, you cannot use your cooking gas instead of fuel. You know, PMS is very expensive.
To unravel the mystery behind powering the generating set with liquefied natural gas, otherwise known as cooking gas, our news crew set out to Umori in Owerri North local government area of Imo State in search of the workshop and the artisan in the trending video. Unfortunately, he was said to have left the area. That did not, however, close the chapter as we discovered this artisan, Marcel Onamma, who also does exactly the same thing.
I'm surprised to see people coming around for the conversion. So, and I started trying to construct my own. Get the carburetor kit, you get your cylinder and your hose. You can extend your hose as how many feet. So I construct it to work.
Our camera lens also captured a welder who is already using the gas-powered generator in his workshop. He says it is more economical than the use of premium motor spirits.
We've been using this gas to help ourselves. Like, if we buy a full of 4,000, maybe it lasts for us like a day and some hours. But since when we bought this gas, it has been like 3 days. Today is going to make it 3 days.
As we all know, there is increment in fuel price and it's disturbing, you know. But with what is happening now, this invention will work far, will go far, and it will be more economical.
In our quest to ascertain the safety of this invention, we visited the office of the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Owerri, but the officials could not be reached. Although some experts in the petroleum sector who spoke off camera say the procedure is safe, Nigerians can only look forward to a public declaration by the regulatory agencies guaranteeing its safety. Until then, your guess on this new way of saving cost for power generation could just be as good as mine.
All right. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has successfully intercepted 2 shipments of loud cannabis in Lagos State, totaling 5,344.1 kilograms. A seizure that took place on Lekki Expressway involving a truck carrying 2,434.1 kilograms, while the other occurred at Alpha Beach, intercepting a boat loaded with 2,910 kilograms with multiple arrests made. Additionally, in states, the agency also apprehended individuals with significant quantities of skunk and cannabis, dismantled a cannabis farm and arrested several suspects. Well, today is actually the International Day Against Drug Abuse, and which, of course, security agencies along the border posts are complementing the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency mandate of clamping down on drug distribution network. Non-governmental organizations are also prioritizing drug prevention strategies using robust sensitization mechanisms, emphasizing the ills of addiction. It is an all-encompassing approach to ending drug menace, but a limited number of treatment centers is slowing down the drug rehabilitation process. Michael Olaleye reports.
It has been a fiery battle against drug abuse, with major seizures like 193 billion naira worth of cocaine busted at a warehouse in Ikorodu last year, showing real effort. But like the case of a chicken's feather concealing the sweat, high rates of addiction among youth is downplaying the energy exerted on the fight against drug abuse.
In this report, I think starting from the January to date, we have succeeded in seizing over 500 kilograms of cannabis indica, which popularly they call Colorado. We have over 7 persons standing trial.
Complementing this effort are the Customs and Immigration Services, in which hardly with the Federal Operations Unit supervising the 6 states in the zone makes any seizure without cannabis. In fact, just last month, close to 10,000 parcels were intercepted.
Investigation we gathered, the product is from Ghana. It was discharged from a boat into this truck.
Using the War Against Drug Abuse initiative known as WADA, supporting NGOs are preaching education as against incarceration.
At every level, we need to find our young people engaged. We need to engage them in socio-economic activities in order for them to exert their energies in the right direction.
Treatment is a major aspect of winning the war, but now that the establishment of NDLEA's 6 rehabilitation centers across the country is still a prospect, key players recommend greater synergy with the private sector.
People are not aware of the ones that are existing. For me, the first way to start is for parents to be parents again.
Stakeholders say the effectiveness of implementability solutions to fighting drug abuse depends largely on willingness of major players to sustain the tempo. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
All right, let's keep the campaign louder against loud. That's Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguela. Bye.